How's it going, everybody? Andy McCullough from the Los Angeles Times here with Bill Plaschke, also of the Los Angeles Times. We're here for a World Series rematch in August between the Dodgers and the Astros here at Dodger Stadium. No sign of Yu Darvish, so it should be a competitive series.
But it's cooler right now than it was for Game 1 of the World Series.
Oh my God, that was brutal.
So here's a question I have to ask Andy. Everybody's talking in town. They scored 21 runs last night. They're going to roll over the Astros. They're going to pound them. No, that's not how it works. Momentum's only next day starting pitcher. Today's starting pitcher, Justin Verlander for the Astros.
Good pitcher.
I think this weekend, tell me if you agree, that this weekend will be interesting to see if the Dodgers can win in ways other than hitting home runs. Can they win with the bullpen? Can they win with starting pitching? Can they win with a base hit to the opposite field? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's when you look at kind of the way their offense is set up, they do have a lot of guys who are homers and strikeouts and walk guys. They do have a little bit of diversity in terms of approach, but that's, if they're going to win in the postseason, they're going to have to hit the ball over the fence, and you're going to have to do it against elite pitchers. So it is an interesting litmus test just to see if their stuff will work against, a great staff. They're going to face Verlander on Friday and Garrett Cole on Sunday. Lance McCullers in between, who's obviously pitched well against them at times.
Game 7, he was their Game 7 starter, right?
He was, yeah, when he threw the, breaking balls, they swung over them every time. It was sort of sad to watch.
But interesting too is the pitcher who the Dodgers don't have, who the Astros do have, who we won't see until the last game of the series, Roberto Osuna, who was a pitcher that the Dodgers were in desperate need of a second closer.
Yeah,
needed
a guy at the bridge to Jansen.
They could have gotten him from Toronto. They didn't because he was serving a 75-game suspension for domestic assault. He's currently it's an alleged domestic assault. It hasn't been tried in the courts yet. Astros went ahead and got him. The clubhouse is furious about it, from what I understand. He quit pitcher on Sunday. It'll be a lot of boos.
In the aftermath of kind of the negotiations for the Aroldis Chapman deal breaking down in 2015, the Dodgers have more or less shied away from trying to acquire players with a history of domestic violence or undergoing investigation for domestic violence. They weren't in on Yuri's Familia this past summer. There's a few other guys who sort of fit that bill, and Osuna is kind of the same way, where there are folks within the front office and believe to be even in the ownership group who just say it's a no for us as an organization.
I like that. Do you like that?
I mean, I think if you're going to have a moral stance about something as a baseball team, I think that's a pretty damn good place to start. I don't care as much about PEDs or stuff like that. I think that's really not in our purview. But I think if you're going to have a hard stance on something, that's a pretty good one to have, because it's obviously a major issue in this country that needs to sort of be corrected. And if a team can make a stand through that, I think it's commendable.
So on a less important note, who's the better team right now? We know who the better team was for 9 innings last October. That was all they were better for 9 innings. Are the Astros have a much better record than the Dodgers? They seem deeper than the Dodgers. They did until 2-3 days ago. What do you think?
So the Houston Astros are the best team in baseball. I think
better than the Red Sox.
Better than the Red Sox, yeah. I think they can do a lot of different things. They're really, really deep in the lineup and in the pitching staff. And as gross as it is to say, with Osuna in the bullpen, it's they're better there. So I view them as the favorite in the American League. That said, the Dodgers lineup is going to really hurt some people, in these next.
It is unbelievable lineup. I must say.
I mean, when Brian Dozier's like your 8th or 9th best hitter, you're a good club. You're a good club. And what they did at the deadline, they did not improve their weakness, which is the bullpen, but they strengthened their strength in getting Machado and Dozier in a way that could make it enough to overcome in the postseason.
Well, because you're thinking they're going to beat the heck out of other staffs and beat them thin, and by that time the bullpen's not going to come into play. But I've been to 30 Octobers. I've never seen the bullpen not come into play, though.
You're 100% right, and I think in the National League at the very least, I think they have probably enough pitching to get through teams like the Cubs, teams like the Brewers, teams like the D-backs. I think the bullpen depth won't be as severely tested until they get to the World Series if they're seeing the Red Sox or the Astros or the Yankees in a 7-game series, just because those are like super lineups that can bang with what the Dodgers
and they still have time, right? Non-waiver trade deadline. Or can they get the kind of number 2 ace reliever that they need? Probably not at this point.
Well,
most of them have been traded.
Most of them have been traded or aren't available, and guys like Raisel Iglesias are not going to get through waivers most likely. So it's going to have to be internal. It's going to have to be Ross Stripling, Kenta Maeda, maybe Julio Urias. Remember him?
Yeah, I can't. That's a huge risk.
I mean, of course it is, but it's a World Series, and if he's an effective reliever, you got to try and ride him. And I think it's going to have to be internal guys, whether it's Walker Buehler coming out of the bullpen, Alex Wood coming out of the bullpen, Rich Hill pitching on his throw day. They're going to have to MacGyver it.
So basically, we're saying this tremendous lineup, this tremendous hitting lineup against the Astros. Let's say it's a World Series. They get to the 8th inning, they're up 2 runs, they spend all this money, and they give the ball to Pedro Baez.
Ooh, that's.
I'm just saying.
On
I'm
that
just
note,
saying.
Dodgers fans, something to dream about.
Yes.
You can read all the coverage in the pages of the LA Times and LATimes.com. You have a great day.